It's the AC Milan Fan Club podcast. My name is Obedience. I'm here with Duke, and Landon is making a comeback on the show. Landon, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. It's good to be back. Hope you guys missed me, Shaq.
I'm doing good. Another wonderful win over the weekend. Allegri keeps delivering. It's
Yes.
He
shitting on
keeps
the
changing our lives.
Yes.
he's shitting on the
But
he's
that's the
He
word.
shitting on,
That's
keeps
the word.
changing our lives.
It's changing our lives. Changing lives. Changing lives. It's sweet, man.
exactly.
Anyways,
So
I can see that everybody is all smile. Landon is all smile. Even myself, I'm all smile. It's good to be winning, actually. So let's get straight into it. It's 5 straight wins now. The team, everything seems to be working right now. The team is working as a whole. There's no atom of individuality in terms of player playing for themselves. Lando, what do you think has been the bedrock of Milan so far and having won 5 games in a row?
Okay, so I think honestly, it's down to our style, the approach to the game. Okay, so for instance, I will see us winning 3-0, and the coach will not even be comfortable with the fact that we are winning 3-0, right? We are playing Napoli, and it's even with the red card, everybody's chasing. Like there seems to be this feeling, which is I know it from if you can go back to the fourth podcast, whereby everybody feels now like this is Milan. So there's a need to fight for something. People see the need to say, okay, I'm playing for this team. But most importantly, I feel like one of the things that's really helping us it's our style, and the style of play really fits the player. I was one of those person that was kind of very conservative about the formation, but I think that's also helping. The coach is doing a real wonderful job. So I guess it's the coach and he's been able to put his thought process across to these players, and they're responding well to it. So that's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Landon. So you believe it's the coach and everything is going right. Duke, what do you think has been like the backbone of us winning all of these games so
yeah,
far?
I think every single person that has watched Milan this season can see clearly that it's the midfield. The midfield this season is probably the best midfield that we've seen in a decade, if not more than that. We have a midfield that is completely dominating games, that is so mature, that is able to take over the games, able to regulate, dominate, and also create chances. You watch Milan games now, and you see Milan having 4 or 5 big chances per game. It's something that you do not even see or you witness in time past. The midfield not only is it solid attacking wise, also solid defensively because you see people like Rabiot covering every blade of grass. So it's just that midfield in particular and then the attitude that Allegri has been able to instill into the team. Everybody fights for every second ball right now. We don't even lose duels like we used to before. So that for me, it's pretty straightforward. Just the midfield first before any other thing.
Against Napoli for a large spell, Napoli were very dominant. That didn't take away the compactness of our team, but they were very dominant in their play. So I don't know. We also need to look at that part. So I just needed to point that out too. React to
So
what
Yeah,
you
so
said.
So Duke has rightfully said, there's been the midfield want and a change in attitude. And I think what is most important is actually the change in attitude. Because even with the best midfield in the world, if your players do not show hunger and wanting to compete, wanting to play for the team, I don't think we'd be getting all those results. Even if Modric came into the team and you felt, okay, I'm Luka Modric, I don't really need to fight and want to help this team, I don't think we'll be in the situations we are in right now.
So why I mentioned the midfield, yeah, it's pretty straightforward because the same defense that you're talking about now is the same one that we had last season. Same Tomori, Pavlovic, and Gabia. And those 3 guys, they have never been guys to have been known for having a poor attitude. They've always had the best attitude. Tomori has always had the hunger for the game. Pavlovic and Gabia are the same thing. So one thing about football is quality. No matter how much attitude you have, no matter how much grinta you have, if you don't have the quality for the next level, you
Yeah.
just don't
Yeah.
you just don't have it. So if that defense is looking solid and compact all of a sudden, it's because of the work that the coach has been able to do with the midfield. The midfield is shielding that defense perfectly this season. We play every game and then you barely even see, even when we are under pressure, like even when Napoli was dominating, how many chances they create inside our 18. They had to resort to long range efforts to be able to test our goalkeeper. So these are the things that you see, and then it gives you the idea that something has really changed. And it's not just about the attitude only. The quality in that midfield has really helped us. So that's basically why I mentioned that midfield.
I'm on your side too, Duke, because the midfield is just something else. And like I mentioned before the Milan game, before the Napoli game, it's always going to be a battle in that midfield. The game would be lost and won. And basically that's what panned out at the
That's
end
true.
of the
Yeah.
day. So talking about the Napoli game, we had a very fantastic first half. Everything was going right up until the second half. A penalty and a red card, and everything almost went to the gutters from there. Before now, the Milan we knew or the Milan we had most likely would have drawn this game or probably even lost it. But this game was different. Brandon, what do you think has been the major difference in getting this win against Napoli, despite being one man down and Napoli being on the rise? What do you think has been the major difference between this Milan team and other teams before now?
Okay, so takes me back to where I started from. It's down to the attitude. And let's also give it to the coach, honestly. I don't see how you want to talk about this team, the performances, whatever it is we are doing, that you won't come back to the one person that is managing this team. For instance, immediately after the red card, the changes he made, I don't know if he took Pulisic out because he was injured. I honestly couldn't figure out why he took Pulisic. But he made some changes not because like I don't want to sit back. I also want to be able to soak up pressure, even when I take up those pressures, right? I still want to have my team being able to attack. Now, and even with that, you will notice that even Napoli, they were also very cautious in the way they were coming all out at us because they knew that at every point in time you could come all out and you could get a goal. Now, I saw so let me even agree with what Duke just initially said. I saw different instances whereby Rabiot was sitting at the heart of the defense. Honestly, you would think Rabiot was even the defenders. Was a central back. So there's this real compactness from the team wanting to win games. Before now, I feel like most of our players just come to the pitch and just like, okay, I'm coming there. But now there's this hunger to say, I am coming to get the 3 points. You know, there's a difference between I don't know which of the Milan fan. I think it's even Duke that says it's in being very effective. Now, the team, there's this hunger to be very effective in their output. Even if you look at it, the kind of chances we are creating, even with the red card, it still stop us from even trying to create chances and all that. So I guess it's the attitude towards our attitude and our approach that is really giving us that edge in what we are doing now. That's the honest truth.
Okay, thank you very much. Our attitude and our approach, which I really do not fault. Duke, what do you think has been the major difference? I know Landon has said it's the attitude and the approach, but is there something else that we're actually missing in terms
Yeah,
of the difference
there's
between this
something that
Milan team and the teams before that most probably have lost or drawn this Napoli match?
yeah, there's something that we are also not talking about, and is the maturity. There is maturity of the team and the caliber of players that we have. So, for example, imagine that we were in that game with a midfield three of Loftus-Cheek, Musa, and Fofana. There is no what's it called? There is no first thing first for you to be
They
able
can't
to
even
play
keep the
that.
ball. They can't keep the ball.
Exactly. So first thing first, I would say maturity and quality. First thing first, for you to be able to play that kind of game that we play, you need to have players that can actually hold the ball and use the ball. Players that can
Yes. Yeah.
actually relieve the team of pressure. Players that can actually just create something out of nothing
Nothing.
and
Yeah.
all that. We didn't have all of that before. We have that now in Modric and Rabiot. So I will always tell people talk about Modric a lot, but people don't talk about Rabiot and how instrumental he has been for us since he joined us. There was a particular point in that game where Napoli had like a shot that was like directed towards goal, and it was Rabiot
Rabiot, yeah, stopped it. Yeah.
was
Twice.
was
It happened like
was
twice. Yeah.
was
Twice. Yeah.
Rabiot lying on the ground? Was that Rabiot lying on the
Stopping
ground
it.
literally to block that shot? These are things that you don't see from Milan players of the past. You will not see a Malik Chow doing that last season. You will see him standing on
Fine
his
boy
foot.
Malik.
Fireboy Malik. So these are the kind of things that you don't see. So you need to have players that are ready to play football nicely in a neat way and also be able to get their what's it called, their socks dirty when it's needed. So the maturity and quality of that team has been raised by those two guys alone. And then also when you have quality like that, it allows you to be able to play football with ease, to be able to dictate games and then control things. Not only was Modric doing his job, was also passing the confidence to the rest of the team as well, telling them where they needed to be and where they needed to stay. And then on top of that is now the coach himself. The coach has been able to what's it called, instill that compactness and that desire to fight for the ball. The fitness level of the team has gone up drastically. This AC Milan team can play football for 120 minutes and not get tired. Last season, this Milan team will play 60 minutes of football, and in the last 30 minutes you'll be wondering if they're professional footballers. So at this point, you can see that the fitness level is different. Everything is just different about this Milan team. And on a final note, I would like to thank Jimenez for this for us being able to play with 10 men against Napoli, because even with Jimenez, we have been playing with 10 men all season. So it was not a new thing for us to actually play with
You
10
already
men.
had experience, I mean,
Exactly.
but that's not fair. That's not fair on Jimenez, anyways. Yeah, he has been defending for us
Okay,
if I'm being honest.
so obedience.
Although that's not his
The
job,
Napoli
bro.
match, it was non-existent. See, honestly, I was even surprised. I was even surprised where Duke was talking about him and Leao. Till they removed
No. So
Jimenez,
so
I
the
was even
the
asking, where
conversation.
is this guy?
So
Non-existent. I'm
Lando, I
serious.
believe you were not here last week. So we're discussing about the lineup, and almost everybody, apart from Santiago, most everybody said the coach had to drop him and start Okuku in this game. But the coach knows best. He started him and he
No,
got lost, which is what all of us actually
No, it was terrible.
expected. It's actually what all of us expected. So let's talk about
Okay, so I also
um
wanted to say something, please, just a minute.
yeah, go ahead.
We also need to give props to Salamakas. In fact, if you ask me,
So yes.
he's been our best player so far, because there's nothing Pulisic is doing that none of us are expecting from him. We already know what he can do. Salamakas is on a whole new level now. I don't even know
I think most
what it is.
improved would be the best word to describe Salamanca with.
It
yeah,
Him
is.
to be
most
the
improved.
most
Yeah.
improved
I can't
player.
even recognize him. So I think maybe we'll even do a show whereby we'll talk about him a little bit. I
No,
can't recognize that boy
we'll get
again.
into it. So let's look at the returns for Milan. We saw Rafael, your beloved sweetheart, come back in
Number
that
one,
game,
the Olori
and
Ebi of London.
personally, I felt he should not have been the substitution to come on. Personally, because I felt she was not fit enough for a game of such high intensity. I personally felt Nkunku should have been the one to come in, then probably Leao would step in later in the game. And then, what do you make of the 30 minutes that Rafael Leao played for the team in terms of the game against Napoli?
Okay, so I do agree with you that it wasn't fit. It was even evident in the way, but it was the one it was him that we needed to bring on board. So let me just state that. I was even shouting at him, because at some point you need somebody that wants to drive forward. Him alone, right? Even without backup, is able to do one or two things and cause damage. And we saw that. We
Hold
saw
on,
where
hold on. So that's
Napoli.
the thing. That's okay. Lando, if Leao was fully fit, I would
Yes.
not object to him coming on.
Okay.
A
Okay.
fully
Yes, I
fit
agree.
Leao was exactly what we needed for those remaining 30 minutes. But we have to take into consideration the fact that this was his first minute of the season, apart from the Barry game. And you don't just throw somebody in first minutes
The
in
games,
such a
yeah,
high
exactly.
tension
So
game
in
that
such
we're
a
actually
high
under
intensity
pressure.
game, yeah,
We're
I
10
get you.
man
That's
down.
true.
We needed to
That's
defend the hand. And Leao is not the player that you know that can run around the whole pitch for
No,
you.
it doesn't
If I'm
have
being
time for it.
honest
Won't
with
even send you
ourselves.
message. Okay, so but in all, I also can't fault Allegri, to be honest with you, because we also needed somebody that can push them back, and he's the only one with that quality. So, well, okay, so just look at that scenario whereby Leao was holding the ball and he had 7 players on him.
I
Just
bet
look
you
at that
Kuku can
scenario.
do that. Abi, Duke, what do you think? At
To,
least
to
we've
be
seen.
to be honest, I would not fault the substitution of Leao in that game. So the major reason for that was that I think at that point it was a matter of introducing a fear factor for
Exactly,
Well,
that's the
Napoli.
word
if
for
you put
Napoli.
it
Yeah,
that way, yes.
Exactly, it
If you
was a
put it
matter of
that way,
introducing a
yes.
fear factor for Napoli, because the take it or leave it, I might batch Leao as much as I do, but there is the aura that surrounds Rafael Leao and
thank you, thank
everybody.
you, thank you, thank you, thank
London
you,
is
thank
so
you to my
happy.
fans. My fans, see, so that's the thing. My fans, they will always confess, I'm with you. I'm with you.
There is what there is a aura that surrounds Rafael Leao, and then obviously in time past, he has done damage to Napoli before in the past, so there was always that at the back of their mind. So the game plan, I don't think that Leao played according to the game plan that Allegri had for the game. I don't think that he did what Allegri wanted him to do for the game.
So that's the thing. That's what I've been saying. So you can't really fault Leao because obviously he was not fit.
Yeah, so this is the thing. So he did not need to do too much. So that's the point. The point was not for him to do too much. So the point was that there were also some instances where he did not make the right decisions. It was not about him doing too much. So one thing about Rafael Leao is that a fully fit Leao and a fully fit Nkunku, Rafael Leao's pace is unmatchable in the league. What Allegri wanted him to do, he knows that there's a
True.
Rabiot that can transition us from defense to midfield to attack in just 2 minutes. Rabiot has the capacity to transition us from. But then if Rabiot is transitioning us from defense to midfield, he needs another player in attack that can match his pace, that can actually be on the receiving end of whatever it is that Rabiot is doing. So I think that the aim for him was to have 2 players that could stretch Napoli's defense. One of them being Rabiot from deep and Leao from the attack. That was the aim. And then Rafael Leao also has the height advantage that Nkunku does not have. So if we are hooking the ball into the 18, we need a player that can win headers, that can win drop downs for the next guy behind him. If you're also going into corners, trying to defend corners, we also need Rafael Leao's height as well. So these are some elements of the game that we as fans don't take into consideration when we talk about things like that. So Napoli already had the upper hand. They were like already piling on us. So we did not need to concede from, let's say, set pieces or whatever. We just needed somebody that could pin them down at any instance. So that was the whole idea of bringing in Leao. Nkunku is a great player, but he's a different profile from Rafael Leao. He's a kind of guy that can play within tight spaces and all that and everything. But would he be able to take on 4 or 5 Napoli players all by
No, he
himself?
can.
We
No, he
wouldn't
can.
be able to do that. So the aim was for Leao to draw fouls from Napoli, just
Exactly. Yeah.
commit them and waste
Waste
their
time.
time. And then
Waste time. Yeah.
if something comes out of it, fine. So there was a particular point in time in the game. I don't know if you caught it. Rabiot made an overlapping run for Rafael Leao, and Leao just completely ignored him and they passed the ball to Akekani. All Leao had to do there was just give the ball back to Rabiot, charge into the 18, let Rabiot give you the cut back, and then just score. That's all he had to do. Some of us watch AC Milan completely and fully. So if you do it and you do it properly, you would see the instances why I had issues with Leao. So it's not really about his ability, it's about his decision making at critical times that stands out for me. So if he had just done that, it was game over. 3-1 at that particular point, but he chose the wrong option. That's what I think of what Allegri's game plan was. I could not have fought him for it. My only concern initially was, why did he take off Pulisic first instead of Jimenez?
Initially, yeah.
That I cannot defend. That I cannot explain.
Yeah, still, I don't understand why.
So for like 7 to 10 minutes, we were playing with 9 men. So I even give Allegri extra props. Not only did we play with them, we played for 9 men again at some point in that game.
Dude, please. So let's look at it now. So this is 5 games into the season. We've won 4. We lost our first game. We've considered just 3 goals. I think that's the second lowest in the league.
Mhm.
No, the third lowest. Funny enough, Cremonese has considered just 2, which is quite unbelievable.
They should bring them
And they beat
again.
us.
They
Yeah,
should
they
bring
beat
them
us.
again.
and it's where do we see the team headed to potentially this season based off of what we've seen so far? I know we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but when you look at things like this, you can basically see like a progression sort of. So based on what we are seeing right now, where do we think the team is looking at going towards this season?
To be honest, I have my personal convictions and my personal, based on what I have seen. Not only based on what I have seen, it's based on the core of the team and what the team is built on, like the basis of the team. It gives me confidence for some certain kind of results and performance. But to be honest, I would not say too much. I would say that this season we are definitely not finishing outside the top 3 in this area. And the only thing that will make us finish out of top 3 is if we get severely hampered by injuries. That's the only thing. Apart from that, we'll finish top 2 in this area. We are playing. We have the maturity, we have the quality, and to go distances. And then I think that playing against Juventus this weekend will further confirm whatever it is that we have in our minds this weekend. So let's just take it as it comes. I think top 3 is secured for us, if you ask me.
Okay, London. So speaking about that, we go into the next game of the season. We're playing Juventus. They are literally 1 point behind us. They won 3 games and they've drawn 2. So they've not lost this season. I think they're about the only unbeaten. Okay, they're like 2 other unbeaten people in the league right now. But do you think that Juventus has been convincing enough to have Milan fans worrying right now going into that game?
Okay, yes. I honestly, because I do watch them and I've watched them. They're almost not that far off in with Milan. How do I mean? They're a growing side. If you watch Juventus, I don't know, the coach is doing a lot in terms of building the player capacity and the way their approach to games. They are growing. Like everybody, they're in all the entire team. Jonathan is fully on board, and that's helping them. The only thing I think is going to play an advantage for Milan, it's in the quality of our players. Honestly, say what you like. That's quality, like Duke initially said, will stand out when we play against Juventus, right? The quality of our players, and also there's this maybe confidence, the fact that I have won 5 games that would go into that game. But I also think we should be very cautious with Juventus because every one of them, they play as a unit. Every one of them is fighting for the ball. Every one of them is fighting for the team. They also have this never die attitude when they play. I've watched most of all. I think it's only one of their matches I've watched. So yeah, it's a match that we want to be very cautious in going into it. But I feel like the quality of our players is going to be to stand out and help us win that match.
Okay, the quality is going to be the difference. What do you think going into this game? Do you think
Yeah,
you've seen
not
enough for Juve to worry us?
not to sound overconfident, but if we don't beat Juventus this weekend, it will be because we didn't take our chances. That will be the only reason why we will not beat Juventus.
We know the culprit already.
Contrary to what Landon said, this is the weakest Juventus side defensively. In the last 2 or 3 seasons, Juventus is conceding goals for fun this season. Conceding goals
That's
for
it.
fun, and not only are they conceding goals for fun, they're creating. You can open them, cap them open, and their midfield is not all that. Apart from Thuram in
Yildiz.
that midfield is completely
Yildiz.
non-existent.
What about Yildiz?
Tudor is basically playing the same football that we were playing at some point, which was Leao and Inshallah. What Tudor is playing now is either Yildiz or Conceição, Inshallah. That's what he's playing. So all we need to do is just to do what we have been doing. Remain very compact as a unit. Do not make mistakes at the back. Do not give chances to the opposition. And then we definitely get chances. We'll create enough chances against Juventus. And once we can convert, I was telling Femi the other day that if you can score 2 goals against Juventus, 2 or 3 goals on you, you will win that game because Milan will not concede more than 1 goal in that game. Maximum 2 goals. So if you can score 3 goals, we'll definitely win that game. So I just think we just need to remain compact at the back. Our own chances that we get, and then we would. I don't see Milan leaving that game with anything less than a. To be honest, I don't want to sound too overconfident. I would just say Milan win or draw. But at the back of my mind, I'm expecting a Milan win, a solid Milan win.
Okay, thank you so much. And me personally, I think it's looking very good for Milan to get the win. Just like rightfully said, we've proven that we can create a lot of chances. Our only issue is just being taking the chances, and I think we all know who to blame for that. So let's take score prediction. Landon, what are your score prediction for the game against Juventus?
Milan 3, Juventus 2. I'll go with that.
Okay, 3-2.
3-2.
Duke, what do you think?
I don't see that Juventus team scoring 2 goals against that Milan team. It's the best result that Juventus can get in that game is a 2-1 loss to Milan. The best result Juventus can get is a 2-1 loss to Milan.
Personally, I think it's actually going to be a 2-0 victory for Milan.
I don't see them scoring more than 1 goal.
I don't see Juventus even getting 1 goal in that game, but hopefully we see how that.
I think that just to add one thing before you finish, I think that we are underestimating the fact that we played against Napoli 40 minutes with 10 men, and not once, aside from the outside shot, did we look like considering.
No, I actually understand the fact. The defense,
so that's what I'm trying. That's the point I'm trying to make to land on.
The defense, the midfield has been helping that defense so
exactly.
much.
So just shows how compact we have been this season. We have been so compact this season.
I'm not denying that, right? But in itself too, if you also so the truth is the midfield has been compact, but we also have some lapses. So, okay, let me give you an instance that I was running away from, but let me see it now. Prior to when we got that red card, I was arguing in one of our Milan group because they just kept comparing Thiago with Estupiñán, and I'm like, see, there's is it Politano also? It was really getting on player like Estupiñán, and that red card there were signs that should have happened earlier. I don't know if you understand. So yeah, we are compact, we are doing so well. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're also not vulnerable too. Let's be honest ourselves. And I also did not like the fact that we're playing Napoli, we're 2 goals ahead of them, and at some point they were dominating us. So those are the things that we also need to look at too. Like, so these are things that you can't run away from anyway.
Landon, football is not.
I think personally that's basically game management, anyways.
Exactly. Landon, football is not. Professional football is not.
Let's go a little.
Professional football is not the same as football that we play when we are growing up. We're playing Napoli, not Lecce. You're always going to have moments in the game.
Yeah,
they will be on top.
Exactly.
I'm following the scores. They're beating Juventus. Okay, so I think let them beat us so that we can beat them too.
So you're always going to have moments where you will be on top and the opposition will be on top as well. So the point is, what do you do with your moment? You cannot expect AC Milan to play Inter Milan, for example, and they expect that Inter Milan will not have spell that they will dominate the game. Even the Milan of old,
also, yeah.
As bad as we were, we had our moment that Inter Milan will practically allow us play with the ball, and Lukaku will just come from a counter. So it's just normal game management. Sometimes you just need to allow the opposition feel like they can hurt you, and then you hurt them when their guards are down.
All right. So thank you so very much, guys. It's been a very wonderful conversation. I really enjoyed discussing with you guys. We're top of the league right now, and I
Yes,
think
one.
it's going to be a very good weekend. Game against Juventus, I think it's on Sunday if I'm not mistaken,
It
and
definitely
I
has to
see
be
us
on Sunday.
getting a win. I see us getting a win in that victory. So thanks so very much, guys. Don't forget this is the AC Milan Fan Club Nigeria podcast. I'm Obedience, and I've had Duke and Landon with me today. Please like, share, comment, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channels. You can follow us on all social media platforms. AC Milan Fan Club Nigeria. And I guess we'll see you on the next episode of our podcast. Take care of yourself, guys. It was Amila.
Milan.
First, Milan.